Poverty is a horrible thing, and I know this because I have seen it firsthand in many parts of the world. The first time I observed poverty was when I was 13 and went to Haiti with my family to meet the little boy that would soon to be my brother. 3 years later, when I was 16 years old, I observed local poverty in southern Kentucky when I traveled to Shelbyville on a mission trip. Eric Jensen, author and expert on brain-based learning, has this to say about poverty in schools. Poverty is everyone's problem. The new normal in U.S. public schools is that 51% of all students come from low-income families. While researching poverty, and I have come across three main ways that poverty affects children in school. In addition, I have studied the ways teachers in public schools can help children in poverty. The three ways that poverty affects children are emotionally, cognitively, and socially. First, I'm going to talk about the emotional way poverty has a strain on children and how teachers can help. Emotion rules all of us, but especially students in elementary, middle, and high school. Poverty does great harm to these children and their emotions. Children are also in the developmental stages of their life, and emotions are a huge factor of that. One factor that hurts the children is, in an emotional way, is the environment. Being in an impoverished environment is harmful to the children. For example, Urban Child Institute had this to say about children who are living in poverty. Living in an environment affected by chaos and poverty can lead to changes in the brain's stress system that increase a child's vulnerability to chronic diseases later on in life. Some ways that teachers can help these students emotionally are to first and foremost love them and show them that we care for them and to be the stable person in their life that they may not have with their parents or their families. Now that we've learned about the emotional way to help students, let's talk about the cognitive way we can help them. Cognition is a huge thing for students who are in school because it has to do with memory and learning the most. Students who are in low-income housing do not get the proper stability for learning at a young age that they need, whether the reason being that the student's parents are not there or because they do not have a stable guardian. This is something that is a big deal, especially when they are not getting the proper stability that they need. Then they will lag behind in school and eventually drop out. As a future teacher, this disturbed me greatly, and I wanted to find a way to help my students. I found many different ways. The first one has to do with us as teachers, and it is that there are ways we can push our students and not let them give up and show them that we want them to succeed and pouring time into them. The next way is a program that is called Fast Forward. This program can help children who are not developed in reading as well as children are. Lastly, I will talk about socially helping our children. Poverty has a huge effect on children in many ways. One way is that they feel behind or left out, or they don't have all the cool clothes or they don't fit in, which we all know that isn't the biggest deal to us as older teachers and human beings, but to them it's a huge deal. And when students feel this way, they lack confidence not only with their peers, but also with teachers because they do not want to be wrong and look like a fool in front of their peers when the teacher says they are wrong about what they are answering. Confidence is not necessarily something that us teachers can give to the students, but we can help them gain it. One of these ways is to push them to better themselves and want more for themselves in a better education. We can do this by how I said in an emotional way, which is by loving them and caring for them. We need to show love, and maybe by showing them love, they can see what education means to us, and socially they will improve by loving to learn and wanting to fit in a way that can better themselves and by making them realize that they can get out of the poverty they are in and better educating themselves. In conclusion, I have talked about the three ways that teachers can help students in poverty. The first being emotional. The students need emotional support and a stable environment, and we can be that stable environment for them. The second is cognition, and this is by helping the student with their schoolwork because they might not have anyone else that cares or that can even help. Lastly, I talked about how we can help them socially. This way ties in with emotions because we need to care for them and socially give them the confidence in themselves. These three are not the absolute truth on how to help students, but they are what I believe and what many other teachers believe students will be helped by helping these students in these ways. They become the most successful learners in their lives.